Hi, it's Sober975 and welcome to Elite Dangerous on the Xbox One. Now this is going to be a very weird video because I'm going to be very complimentary of stuff and then still moan about it. I currently like the fact that the current money making meta in Elite Dangerous, especially on Xbox, is kind of non-existent. You can make money, and really good money, doing whatever you want. There is absolutely so many different ways to make money and get materials. Here I'm sharing a few wing missions. These ones aren't particularly high value, I'm just sharing them for people to get the materials. But if you look, I've got a load of osmium missions stacked up because stacking up osmium missions, you can get really good money mining for osmium. It's one of those things, but it's not that consistent because you have to wait for the missions to spawn. But once you get the missions rolling, geez, you make a lot of money. And those 50 million credit mining missions for mining goods that you can buy, they're still going around like hotcakes. People are making a fortune off that. You know, I recently did a video talking about the fact there's one rare good that spawns in at 400 tons rather than like how it used to at 5. There are so many different ways to make money in this game. There's so many different things you could be doing that it's awesome. From a trader, trucker, miner, you know, if you like making money in Elite Dangerous, there is tons of different ways to make it. You can make it, you can share it with your friends, you can do absolutely tons of different things. In this video, I show me sharing wing missions. There's a little bit of me mining. I show me getting given a load of wing missions that people have done massacre missions. Sharing wing massacre missions has become an absolutely big thing within the game. We made an absolute fortune out of a recent war the feds were involved in. I made 1.9 billion, shared an absolutely bucket ton of money in wing missions with people. So, you know, there are plenty of ways to make money within this game. Absolutely tons and tons of ways to make money within this game. The problem I have as a pirate is there aren't any focal points. Now this is where it gets into weird territory. With my pirate hat on, the current money making meta is absolutely awful. It's terrible. There is no focal point. In the old days, especially in the days of Boran and around that time, you know, every day there was always a focal point because there was always a high sell and it was a big thing. People knew where the high sell was because, you know, so many of the community were making money mining. They needed to know where the high sell was so they can make their money from the high sell. It's interesting now, without that focal point, it becomes very difficult for piracy. We're spread all over the place trying to pirate people, and really it's just like random encounters. We can't, you know, we can't expect people to be somewhere. In the days of the high sell, it was great because we all turned up in droves. That attracted the cops in droves, that attracted other people in droves, and it became like a mini CG environment. The high sell always was a big action point. It was always a fun interacting place. Basically, yeah, we attracted the cops, then us and the cops being there attracted the PvPers, and then before you knew it, the whole system was absolute chaos and really good fun. And I loved it when the high sell was an anarchy system. There's nothing funnier than being sat right outside a station hatchbreakering people. That is the greatest thing. But now, without those focal points, without there being a place for people to congregate or a thing that people need to do, it's really difficult to like engage in piracy. Back in the old days of the game, there used to be the rare trade route. Now, if you didn't know, there's a map, I've put it up on my channel. There's actually a live stream of me doing the rare trade route on one occasion where I actually live streamed. It was a test live stream I did, and it worked okay, but my internet then wasn't quite good enough to live stream. I am thinking of doing it again, but the space I'm in at the moment isn't really good for live streaming. And I remember back in the preview program, there was a thing where Dizomite corn spawned in at 50 tons instead of whatever it normally does, like 4 or 5. And it was a huge thing with people running around the trade route, doing the rare trade loop over and over again, as it was one of the quickest money making schemes. And as pirates and traders, that was great fun because you literally, system was full of people just starting out in the game in cobras, half of the people trying to pirate, the other half people trying to run cargo in and around systems. It was carnage, it was chaos, and it was fun. And those sort of community focal points are great. We really notice it when there's no CG, or the CG is a combat one. As pirates, we're kind of a bit of a loss, and it would be nice if there was non-CG related focal points within the game. You know, there could be times at which they make a certain type of money making big deliberately, or like have rushes. So like occasionally have a station that's buying something at way over the odds for a specific reason. You know, they could do quite easily trade market rushes where there is a rush on a certain item in a certain system, and it creates an in-game demand which then has to be satisfied, and big money can be made doing it, and people would then do it. It would become mini focal points. They don't have to be community goals. It could literally be like one system per day has a, you know, a rush on a certain item, or, you know, it could be anything. But if one station's paying something and then people are making 20,000-30,000, you know, per ton or something like that, or even if they only do it weekly, but it would be a great focal point. And they could do it being different things. Like there could be a mining, you know, focal point where for a particular week, maybe, you know, osmium sells like ridiculously well at this one particular station. They could do it that, you know, maybe that it's a trade one where maybe there's a project that the Empire are working on, and they could have a trade rush on slaves in a certain system, and that would cause a buzz and hubbub of activity as both slavers and anti-slavers get together, and there's traders trying to make money, and there's the anti-slavers trying to stop them, and then there's the pirates trying to pirate them, and then the police trying to stop the pirates and protect the traders, and, you know, drive off the slavers and the anti-slavers and the pirates. You know, that sort of fun activity would be very easy to do with the in-game economy and the way the in-game economy works, or at least I feel it would be. I would love it if I could get my hands on some of the like behind the scenes stuff at FDev and like just have a play, just have a tweak, see what was possible. Because like trade rushes would be great, and, you know, literally you could encourage any sort of activity within the game. You know, even if it's like salvage, you could put a story in Galnet saying, you know, black boxes are going for this ludicrous sum in this particular system because of a research project being done. You know, something like that. Some focal points would be lovely. As a pirate, as a trader as well, it would be the potential to make more money quickly and have fun doing maybe different activities. Like I say, I do love the place the game is at where every activity is viable to make money, and we're not all just sat in Boran making money doing one specific activity. So I am glad we've moved away from that, and now all activities pay well. But I would love some focal points to be put within the game, something to give the community a place to congregate when CGs aren't on, give the community something like, just use Galnet, put some stories out there, have some trade rushes, have some rushes on different mined materials. Hell, you could do it on anything. It could be just fun, silly stuff. You could even like have this certain megaship buying tritium for large amounts. You name it, you could do it very easily just by tweaking the economy tools slightly. And if you can't do it really easily, I'd love to know why. But ultimately, like I say, I am happy with the way the money making meta is at the moment. With my trader's hat on, it's great. But with my pirate hat on and my looking one eye towards open and trying to make open a more inviting and fun and silly place, I would love to see trade rushes in places where there's stuff going on, where people could make big money wing trading, forming up in wings and doing stuff together. And equally, we as pirates could make money from pirating, people getting together and having fun and doing stuff together. And yeah, equally the PvPers, the roleplay cops, anyone who just wants to get involved and could have fun would have a focal point to focus on. Because at the moment, like I say, it's weird. There is no focal point. We, as pirates, we pirate all over the place. We create our own focal points. You know, I've said before, like when we're doing a PPI scam, it can very easily turn that system into a communal focus point. It's absolutely insane. The amount of traffic there was in Argala the week we were attacking that was mental. And when we went after CAPS, CAPS, and we PPI'd them, there was masses of fighting, tons of activity. We had loads of people turn up and go, "What are you guys all doing up here?" And it, you know, it's fun knowing that there's that much attention to being paid what a few filthy pirates are up to in game. It is quite funny. We just sit about a system. We could just pick a system at random, jump about 8 carriers to it, sit there for 10 minutes, and guaranteed somebody would be along having a nose to see what we're up to there. It is really funny. Yeah, we can't do anything in this game without somebody paying attention to us. But ultimately, I would love it if there were more focal points, more community-driven events, other than just the CGs. Because most of the time the CGs are combat ones, and that's not always the best for me as a pirate. It's usually good fun. I mean, a lot of the PvPers love the combat orientated ones, but I always feel the PvE combat ones always get turned into PvP events, which the poor PvP guys that do play in open get caught in no man's land. And you get people like me, and I will happily say this, who go around those sort of events murdering imps, justifying it because they're imps, and they are. And I mark on the lane and I kill imps. It's that simple. But that's power play for you. And like I say, this is just me going around picking up Otter, who has his own squadron. For some reason invited me in randomly and offered me a couple of 100 million, and I was going around picking up the missions after he'd cashed them in, which is very kind of him. It's very nice of him. I haven't spoken to Otter in a while. We had a chat on Discord because he had a situation brewing that he wanted some assistance and advice on, and I actually gave him my advice was he should go talk to the leader of the group I'm boycotting, because they definitely would be in a position to help him out with his situation. Not something a bunch of dirty pirates would have any interest in getting involved in, but something that the police, the roleplay protectors of Imperials, might definitely want to get involved in. A case of a group being picked on by another group, and the group being picked on was imps. So I punted in that direction and said, well, go see them, they should help you. I mean, he came to us asking for help, and I was like, we're not really into helping people. We're the Dark Marauders, we're pirates, we don't do BGS anymore, we gave our BGS up. And yeah, I occasionally do some BGS work on behalf of the Federals and help them out with some of their BGS. But I directed this guy to some mercenary groups, so if the big Imperial group I sent him to doesn't want to step in and help out, I gave him some mercenary groups that he can try. Because there are a lot of people out here that will do BGS for money. I was speaking to Madman Insane, who sometimes see in my comment section. I know he's big into BGS for hire, and loves doing BGS for people for money. There are a lot of fun mercenary groups out there. In fact, 7th Legion were a fun mercenary group. I mean, 7th used to take contracts to protect people, to protect people's BGS, to counter BGS against people. That's what they did. They were a fun mercenary group, and I remember having chats to Harry and Rob about the fact that they weren't ganking criminal scum. They were actually a mercenary group, and Big Led's current group do all sorts of weird and wonderful mercenary activities. So there's always plenty of mercenaries in this game to help with BGS stuff and things like that. It is fun when there's a BGS war. That's a good focal point for players. I love anything in this game that gives people an organic purpose to congregate, get together and do stuff. That for me is one of the greatest things about this game, is the open environment being a community, being something that we can all take part in, that we can have fun role playing with. That to me is where I enjoy this game the most, is when I can have fun with fun people in a game doing fun activities, the emphasis being all about the fun. Anyway, that's all for this video. Let me know what you think in the comments down below. This one's been a real ramble and a long video. Let me just show you some mats growing on trees and say that's all. Thank you very much for watching.